There are no right answers for anything involved in art. We're all trying experiments to find a way. And even for the things that I work on, I don't have a set way that I do anything. I come to every project blank. I believe we know close to nothing about anything. If we embrace that not knowing, we'll have a healthier experience going through life. In some ways, the best art is open enough where the artist gets to have their experience when they make it, and then the audience gets to have their experience when they listen, and they don't have to be the same. There are no right answers for anything involved in art. We're all trying experiments to find a way. And even for the things that I work on, I don't have a set way that I do anything. I come to every project blank and I really listen to what the artist plays and says, and through what they explain they want to do, help find the best way to get there. I feel like it's more of a collaboration between people working together to make the best thing. It's not a boss-slave relationship at all. It's much more of a let's find our way. And we agree at the beginning of the process that if either of us or any of us don't like what's happening, we say it. And the goal is to keep working till we get to a point where we're all really happy with it. It's like if we make something that an artist likes and I don't like, or if that I like and they don't like, we haven't gone far enough. I don't want to listen to you and have any reaction happening when you're speaking. I want to be as neutral as possible. For me, my goal is not to form an opinion, it's to understand. So if anything, I would draw you out further and just ask questions to really understand. And if you say something that that somehow triggers me in a way I wonder how he came to that. I wouldn't challenge you. I would ask, like, oh, how did you find that? How did you get to that place? One of the agreements in the studio is any idea that anyone has, we'll always demonstrate it. We'll always try it, because I can describe to you an idea and you can think, that's a terrible idea. Let's not do that. And then I can play you the idea and then you can say, oh, that's really good. And it's completely different, because when we're told something, we have to imagine what that is. And the way you see something and imagine it and the way I see something and imagine it are completely different. There can't be any ego in this. It doesn't, if everyone's there with the purpose of making the best thing we can, there's nothing else. There are there can't be any boundaries to that. I like the idea of getting to the essential, and I have a better idea now that I've done it for a while, but at the time it was purely an instinctual thing. And part of it is there's a sonic benefit, which is the less elements you have, you can hear each of the ones that are there, and they can sound better. And the less there are, the more space they could have around them, and the more you can hear their personality. Often in the studio, the idea of building upon things and adding layers to thicken, to make it sound bigger, sometimes the more things you add, the smaller it gets. So a lot of it is counterintuitive until you just in practice see what works. There's something we also like to do called the Ruthless edit, which is, let's say you're at a point where it can work for anything, but I'll give you the example with an album. We've recorded 25 songs. We think the album's going to have 10. Instead of picking our favorite 10, we limit it to what are the 5 or 6 that we can't live without. So going past even the goal to get to the real heart of it, and then see, okay, we have these 5 or 6 that we can't live without. Now, what would we add to that that makes it better and not worse. And it's just it puts you in a different frame when you start with building instead of removing. I feel like I'm channeling ideas from somewhere else, 100%. But I think
have you asked questions about where from?
I believe we all are, though. You know, I believe we are we're vehicles for information that when it's ready to come through, it comes through, and the people who have good antennas pick up the signal. But if I'm sure you've had an experience in your life where you've had an idea for something and you've not acted on it, and eventually someone else does it. And it's not because they're doing it because you had the idea and they stole your idea. It's because the time has come for that idea. And if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it.
It's being broadcast by whatever the source is.
Whatever the source is. The reason that you're who you are and the reason that you're finding the success you're finding is because you've been true to yourself to get to that stage. So to start changing that to either conform to someone else's idea of what you should be doing, it just seems like it doesn't make sense.
Do you have a sense of who you are? Because I don't necessarily have
I don't know. I know that I really like making good things, and I know that I'm crazy about it in that it's like an obsession, and I want things to be as good as they could be, whatever it is. And if I finish a music project and I have a window of time where I'm not working on music, I might be moving the furniture around in the house. You know, I'm always looking for a creative outlet to find a way to make something better. Anyone on the business side who doesn't make things, they're excited to do their part. You know, they're excited when you deliver the thing, the art that you make to me, then we can start the project.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to sell if the art doesn't happen in the right way, and it has to be protected, and it can't happen on the same kind of a timetable that that business can. It's just a different thing. Art doesn't come in a quarterly way. I know on the art side, knowing how it works isn't what makes it work. You know, isn't the magic of it isn't how it works. The magic is the magic.
Right.
And the magic happens in a way that's intuitive and accidental at times, or incidental, where you're trying many things and all of a sudden something works, and you don't know why. And it's okay not to know why. It doesn't really matter why, as long as it does the thing that you want it to do, whatever that is. The only advice I would have would be to not listen to anyone and to do what you love and to make things that you love, whatever it is. Make your favorite things. Be the audience. Make the thing for you the audience. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. And if you have to get a job to support yourself so that you can make your art, that's fine. You can't make art for someone else. You can't make art with someone else in mind. I don't believe it can be good. It's like everything is like it's almost like a diary entry. Everything we make is a reflection of a moment in time, a window in time. Could be a day, it could be a year, it could be it could be whatever window you decide that it is. But if you give it all of yourself, and if you're not interested in working on it anymore, it's done. Now, you may decide it's not good enough to share with people, and that's fine. But if it's good enough to share with people, there's no regret looking back.